I haven't quite thought this out yet, so I'll be working through it live as I'm talking. But um, I realized I realized that men are the problem. Oh God, I realized that it's us. Um, Contrary to every problem I've ever had in my life that comes from a woman, um, at the root of it, there's always been a man fucking up. Originally, a man fucked up, and then the woman that got betrayed by that man eventually fucking takes it out on me or something of that nature. So, um, what I'm realizing is I'm friends with and have been an important person to a lot of women. I'm like a safe place. And I notice common themes, pattern recognition, right? So, whether brother, husband, boyfriend, father, grandfather, these men were in some way unreliable, unethical, um, moody, abused substances, something, and caused irreplaceable trauma or irreversible, rather. I think it is replaceable. We got to reprogram ourselves. But what I'm noticing is that women in general will follow a man if he's worth following. But when they're wounded by a man, um, they don't know which way is up. They're suspicious of everybody. It's hard to let go. They self sabotage. They try to get needs met by different people. They generally don't feel safe. And this could be a generational thing. So, one man being a piece of shit or phoning it in, even, doesn't have to be a piece of shit, but phoning in his responsibilities as a man will have will have repercussions for generations. So, not that I consciously did this. Consciously was like, I'm going to be a different type of man. But I am trying to be. Um, and I have been the surrogate brother or, you know, member of the family that has been missing in people's lives, you know? Um, to the point where I have like deeper conversations, like even when I just meet someone, I have deeper conversations than they have with other people. They trust me with deep, dark secrets, which I'm honored to have the privilege of being on the inside circle of this. But it shouldn't be. I shouldn't have that opportunity, let alone not that it's a responsibility, but how unsafe and unstable are the rest of the men that I have like more than my fair share of. You know what I mean? Women with masculine wounds, a wounded animus. So even in obviously like it happens to men too. Men let men down. You know, like you think my dad never let me down, obviously, but I do think that it's the man's responsibility. Like society is run by men, whether you like that answer or not. Keep the lights on. You know, we can't make the baby. So we do the other things and we're phoning it in as a whole. Men are phoning it in because we have replaced being a good man with being successful. We have replaced having morals and ethics and being a safe person with having social status. And because what I do is I sell a luxury item to like luxury people, I've seen my fair share of, the top wealth. And they're not happy people. They're the least happy because they they can afford to buy anything and it doesn't fill the hole. There's something missing, which really made me panic and sent me on my spiritual journey and stuff like this because I was on my way to be that. And I kind of just let it go. Like in the last week, my investments went up enough that like I'm not even gonna say, but it's like it's meaningless. It's like, okay, thanks, cool, neat. Um, already wasn't worried about money. You know what I mean? But I also believe that me just being a good person in my life allows things to flow to me. That's the normal. That's how it should be. I should just get the flow of money is abundant. Um, so I have a lot of conversations throughout the week with people, usually people that are going through something. Um, and I'm starting to notice that, like, obviously, I don't want to be specific, and or even give like a personal story, but if a man is has a family, he's supposed to be obviously the financial provider of that family. I'm an old school guy. I believe that's the case. That's how it should be. Um, if she wants to work, let her work. But I do believe the man should bear that burden. Um, we're better at it. We're better suited for it. Hunt. Um, so if that's the case, right? If that man has no integrity, but he makes ends meet, if he skews towards alcoholism, how does the how do the wife and kids feel when he can't take care of himself? When he's embarrassing himself? What if he's quick to anger, gets into fights? You don't know if he's going to go out to a bar or not go back. What if he um, is irresponsible, gambles? What if he has a porn addiction? What if he needs to go meet up with hookers twice a month? And then there are no such thing as there's no such thing as a secret here. For think about it. When have you gotten away with it? It always comes out. You're with the person you're not supposed to be with. The other person shows up. What are the fucking odds? It happens. Um, I don't like the idea of living my life with secrets. It's like if I'm dating someone, it's like you can have my phone, you can have the password. I don't want to like. It's an insane thing to worry about who might be texting me at what time, and I should block this. And like, who wants to live like this? It's fucking hell. Or where I go and who I run into, it's like fucking don't need it. But the men who don't take the responsibility to be good men, to be trustworthy, to be like a pillar within their family. Everything's built off of this. Um, it will provide all sorts of neurosis that the rest of the family has to deal with that they'll be unconscious of, possibly for the rest of their lives, possibly till they're buried, and then it's generational. whatever we don't heal, the next generation is going to have to deal with. It doesn't go away. It's interesting, um, even if you like drop the baby off at a firehouse, like that stuff is in their DNA. Proven, scientifically proven. So I was thinking that what's my purpose, blah blah blah, right? And somehow either meet people in the transition, like a major transition of their life, or going through their dark night, or evolving in different stages of their anima or animus. And I'm helping people one by one, just by being present, just by listening, just by sharing what I've been through and being supportive. And weirdly, before I recorded this, I got a call from a friend. I gave him this book about manifestation. He called me to tell me that he'd been trying to get a big account for 8 months. And then before he went to bed last night, visualized the phone call, the person calling him. And today that call came in. And he's calling me to thank me and take me to lunch. It's like, you don't have to, the thank you is in the phone call. You don't have to spend money on me. It's fine. Um, and interesting, that is, it's something. It's, it's not nothing, you know? But I'm realizing like I have this power to do good in the world, to help people in a material way. And then as I'm thinking of that, I recorded something for work, which I don't normally do, like some media. And as I'm watching it back, I'm like watching myself cuss, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. And then even in these, like I'll say, oh, this bitch, or that cunt, or like I'm just very casually saying negative things, and I almost overdo it because I want to prove that your actions matter more than your words. It's like there's so much emphasis on words that the words don't fucking matter. What I do, like I actually help people. Who gives a fuck what I say or how I say it? Shut the fuck up. But the adage is good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I need to work on my I need to speak positively about everybody. And I noticed a marked change in my life and my um, disposition when I went from walking by people and judging them and saying negative things in my head to saying positive things. Like even if I have nothing positive to say, just say God bless you. Um, and the world changed from that. The outside world is reflecting back to me what's in here, anyways. So that's true. Now I've been like, you know, spiritually speaking, I watch a lot of stuff about spirituality, about astrology, about like anything you can think of. I'm trying to learn and absorb as much as I can. And I'm really critical about the people that stand in front of others and tell them how to be and how to act, and like I'm talking about organized religion, and then there's the spiritual community, which is doing more of the same thing. And then I feel the disingenuous energy, and that's my fear, is being that. So that's why I've clung to this authenticity. It's like this is how I talk. Fuck you. But like what I appreciate about Trump is that he's not hiding his shadow. You know exactly who this guy is. The people that are pretending to be angels are the ones fucking people at Diddy's house. You know what I mean? It's like the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. What you're trying to hide is this dude ain't hiding shit. We know who he is, and then I think that's what people appreciate. It's like I know who that is. I know what to expect from him, and his type of selfishness works out for like my. Without him being in office, I made money. and business is back to normal. Thanks. Um, so rather than pretend to be something I'm not, which is not, I'm not capable of doing. I can't do it. I just have to improve myself. So this is one area of my life that I have excused and allowed to lapse and just be. So this is. I'm better than this. I'm better than I'm allowing. And if it is good thoughts, good words, good deeds, I have to pay attention to my words. So how I speak about people, even if I'm being funny, I have to be careful. So I'm going to make an effort there because everything else I feel like I conquered pretty easily. Every vice, like quit caffeine, eat, like everything is easy for me. Everything is easy. Like I so abhor being a slave to something that before I had any type of spiritual practice, I didn't like that idea. You know what I mean? Like I used to think when I was little, I was like, I never wanted to drink even, let alone never do drugs. But I was like, I bet you I could get addicted to meth and quit. And then I'd write a book about it. Being like, you're just a bitch. You can't do it. Um, it's, yeah, it's not as hard as you think it is. So um, I've become a better person uh, after allowing myself to be a worse person for a long time. Not even that long, but all right, maybe. Um, and what I find value in is being someone respectable. Like even people that don't like me have told me that I have integrity. It's like that's something. Nobody, not everybody has to love me. But like if I had a family, if I had a wife and kids, you know what I mean? Like would they ever have to worry about dad got too drunk at the party and is driving us home, or dad's cheating on mom, or dad hid this from the family, or dad has this secret? And how is it that that would be a rare thing? How sad is that? You don't have to, when I die, you don't have to delete my search history. How many men in the world can say that? I look up some weird shit, but it's nothing embarrassing. You know what I mean? That's weird. And who did I do it for? There's nobody to show. I live alone. So being a person of integrity and values and morals is important to me. I would say I learned that from my dad, but I would also say I've gone further than my dad has and further than anyone I know. And because I'm further than anyone I know, I've kind of allowed myself slack. But what I'm at the same time, I'm noticing that I have I have been helping heal the masculine wounds in society. The men that let the women down, um, I'm giving them faith that, like my my girl friends who are girls, like you know, if they need me, I'm there. If they sent me a sexual text message, there's no fucking way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't even have the fear of that happening. But I was having this conversation with someone. It's like, um, there's always the test the jealous guy will do. Like, text any of your guy friends and say, let's hook up and no strings attached and see what they say. Most of those guys are just obviously waiting for their turn. And the girls play dumb. Usually, like, she doesn't cheat, but she knows who's next, kind of thing. But most guys will say, like, they're just friends waiting in case. You know what I mean? And that's not me. Um, and it shouldn't be you either. Like, people need people without strings attached. There shouldn't be this expectation of something because it's just like the church thing. It's like, I'll get you to heaven if you give me money. It's like, well, fuck you then. I didn't need this. I just, the way this shit works or doesn't work, it really bugs it really bugs me. It really bothers me. It grinds my gears. So hearing, like, I've heard some horrific shit about, like, everything, alcoholism, infidelity, like imagine having to, like, hold secrets to keep your family together. And then that burden is on a child in the family. Um, and obviously it, reminds me of what I grew up like. The things that traumatized me as a kid, I'm confident neither of my parents have any fucking recollection of it. They have no as if it never happened. And it was like, at the time, the most important moment of my life. Changed who I am, changed how I feel, how I experience the world, and affects every relationship, business, romantic, friendship. Um, and of course, like, we can't blame people for knowing what they don't know. That is the answer. But there's still this emotional release you don't have. Um, just by knowing the answer. Like, you have to get there and release it. So there's this thing that I heard recently about having your heart and mind in sync. And that is your masculine and feminine. Your internal masculine and feminine, which would have both. Your mind is masculine, your heart is feminine. So women with a masculine wound will be in their mind and they will ignore their heart and shut it out. And a woman's strength is not in here, it's in here. They are the compassionate ones. They're the ones who give life. They're the ones who nurture. And if a woman is in this instead of this, she's in conflict. There should be a balance. This has ideas how to keep us safe. And I think I have this very logical, pragmatic, step by step, blah blah blah. And I've, in my spiritual awakening and healing journey, I've become more in my heart. Make decisions from the heart, which conflicts with this, but they have to be in sync. So making decisions from the heart can put me in a situation that will inevitably hurt. Um, so it has to make sense for me to do it. So I just test myself. Like, what's the reality of the situation? Okay, if you get hurt, it's temporary. You've been through hell. It's fine. And is this the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? Does this help the world or does it hurt the world? Because it's a coward's way out to just be in here and protect yourself and be afraid to show people who you are or love anybody or whatever. Fucking coward's way out. Um, but it doesn't mean you put yourself at risk either. But yin and yang, the middle path, the line in between the yin and yang is the middle path. You have the balance of both energies, masculine and feminine. And I feel like subconsciously, without knowing it, God has put people in my path, and that's what I do with my friends. Most of them are women that I'm healing a masculine wound. I have friends who like have abusive brothers, and then I'm that brother. I'm the brother they didn't get, but wish they had. And then I've been a father to people. I'm like, there's kids that I work with, they're in their 20s, but they look at me like a father figure. Um, and this guy that I just talked about, that just manifested something, he has a wounded anima. He has a mother wound. And I'm helping him understand, you know, what his mom was going through and how it's not her fault, and we don't have to wear this forever. You know, we don't have to wear our wounds. So I do think men and women have the ability to change and grow and self-regulate and self-validate, and you know what I mean. We're equally capable of healing our wounds and then doing good in the world, choosing good partners, etc., and not passing on our shit to the next generation. But I do think the man has more responsibility in this regard. We are the protectors. We are the providers. And if we do our job right, if I'm not just a man, not just masculine, but embody the divine masculine qualities, I am inviting in someone who is able to be in her feminine instead of her masculine energy, because she's not afraid. She doesn't have to be in fear. She doesn't have to worry about being abandoned, about a sudden death because I'm unhealthy, about infidelity. I'm single. I get approached by women, and I still say no. When I'm at the gym, I make it a point not to look at anybody. Um, so it's not just that I've conquered, like, I don't need to pipa veloce, which means masturbate vigorously in Italian. I don't watch porn. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just that, is I'm controlling my thoughts. And it's not like I have a demon that I'm hiding away. It's gonna pop out and I'm gonna have to murder somebody and then fuck the corpse. But that's a little extreme. Uh, uh, Freudian slip. Freud was wrong about everything, so don't worry about it. But that was hilarious, honestly. But it would be so funny. He didn't say a curse word ever, but he fucked corpses. I have a story. You want to hear about fucking corpses? Um, I I think I dated a girl that told me this story, but it could be just one of those urban legends. So take it with a grain of salt. This girl's friend was on a bachelorette party in Vegas, and it's a horrific story, but I can't wait to tell you. And then she's on the dance floor and starts like making out with this guy, and they're vibing, and he's like, come back to my house. And she's like, I can't leave the bachelorette, she'll get upset. And he's like, please just touch it. And she's like, I can't. He's like, okay, well, here's my business card. Maybe like after the bachelorette party, like come hang out, whatever. She ends up not seeing the guy, but finishing the bachelorette party, blah, blah, blah. And then goes home, so wherever home is. And then she got these warts. These warts started appearing, so she goes to the dermatologist, like, hey, what the fuck? And they come in, and after doing a biopsy or whatever, and they said, we've called the police. That's SpongeBob meme. Um, these warts come from dead bodies. Where have you been? What kind of a person are you? What are your hobbies? You know? And she had the guy's business card. She's like, well, I fucking, like, this is the only thing that happened is this guy put his tongue down my throat. Turns out he had like 6 women in his basement, and he was you know, doing the things. That guy's out there too. Talk about phoning it in. I don't know how women date anybody. Like we're fucking scary. What the fuck? Did you ever think that? Remember the guy from the Facebook movie? He was telling his girlfriend to remove her ribs so he can cook them and eat them because he's a cannibal. What the fuck is this place, man? I keep saying this is hell. Like fucking who has these ideas? You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this girl to my house. I'm going to fucking turn her into a pickle, and then fuck her every now and then. Very creative. I don't have that creativity. I can't come up with shit like this. It also could have been made up, you know, but it's the fact that it sounds real. So, anyways, being a good person, uh, I think the standard has been lowered so much that we're just like, well, I'm not a serial killer, so how bad could I be? But how many men do you look at and you think like, I want to be like that guy? Not because of some kind of like sports statistic or money. How many people have integrity, morals, etc. until you pay them a certain amount of money? Look at all of Hollywood. All those people are like, I'm for sale. Take me. My point is that I'm not for sale. Like I can't. I have to be this way, and now I have to be better. I can't allow myself like we have enough preachers and we have enough this and that. I actually have to be an example. And like if I ever have kids, you know what I mean? Like they have their own path to go through and decide who they're going to be and how they're going to be or whatever. But they deserve a father that knows right from wrong and practices it. And my wife deserves a husband who has integrity, that would never cheat on her, that would never look at another woman, that would never like step out of bounds, that would never abandon her with the responsibility of raising the kids alone. Of course, I could die at any moment. I'm not in control of that, as far as I know. But you know, I dated someone a long time ago who took a lot of risks with their health. I said, well, they said, well, breast cancer runs in my family, so I'm going to get it. So it doesn't matter that I smoke. I was like, did you ever think that a healthy body doesn't get sick? That it, if you just like what you're making it happen. And I I spent a lot of my life trying to fix or help that person. I had too much time. And they needed me, frankly, but they didn't want the help. Like they just like, no, I'm staying here. And it's a for, everyone has the right to do whatever the fuck they want with their life, but what pisses me off is someone wasting their life. It's like you never want to do anything. You just came and went, like you came and went, and it didn't make a difference to anybody. Which, of course, is not true, but that is for sure the story in their head that they tell themselves. And do you put a ring on that finger? Yeah, take me to hell with you. Let's just both die. Let's just both give up. Um, at the same time, though, I think maybe now this time or phase of life or whatever, I think a lot of people are waking up, whatever that means. So leaving unhealthy situations or advancing in their spiritual path or analyzing their life and their patterns, things like this. And me having been steeped in it, like I'm looking at my journals and my manifestation book and like look at my YouTube history. It's just I'm trying, and if I have a purpose on this planet, I'm doing it by talking right now and by being an example, by being a leader. So I might lead fucking three people, a mouse, and a paperclip, but but I don't I don't have the I don't have the desire to uh, have a church or collect money or be famous or any of these things, but I do have the desire to help. Like those things conflict. Do you understand? Like I I know that when I enter someone's life and make a difference in them in their life, I've done something good. And it's good enough. But I do have this feeling like it was meant for something bigger. And having not done that thing yet, whatever it is, I feel a little bit constricted. I feel a little bit anxious. I feel like every avenue that I could have to have some sort of platform to be seen for who I am or to tell people what I am in here. As soon as you start to think you're somebody, you stop being somebody. So the best thing I could have thought of is these journals. It's like this isn't like a way to monetize or become famous or anything, but it is a way of I'm in this is my alchemical journey. I'm improving as a person. I'm helping people along the way. I'm talking out loud. I'm healing the things in my shadow. And this isn't how people digest help, you know. But interestingly, I have a friend who is like dumping their therapist and said that they're getting more help from me. Like it. someone was like, "Oh, you've changed," and they said, "Thank Matt." And I I'm not aware that I'm doing anything. I'm sharing the information that I've learned from the Almighty and from life. I don't have a teacher or a guru or whatever. Someone just got offended. Maybe I don't know if it's higher self, spirit guides, God. What I've never seen anything to be like that's what it is. When I have a dream, not it's not prophetic. So I'm not a prophet, but I'll tell you what is that in my pursuit of wealth and happiness, those two things conflicted directly. It was an inverse relationship almost. When my goal became quality of life and I started to focus inward on fixing the things that I have neglected my whole life, the things that I wasn't even aware was there, I would project onto, I was very angry, project onto people the things in my shadow before I knew what projection was. And one by one, as I fixed these things, the universe started working in my favor. So if in a week's time, out of thin air, enough money landed in my lap that I could get married and have an extravagant honeymoon and wedding and expensive ring. Thanks, God. I didn't work for it. It just happened. Like, and then the other thing is that I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Imagine what's had to happen to me to get here. My my spiritual journey, whatever the fuck you call this, has taught me so much. And there's no reason to listen to me that I don't have anything figured out. But if you take my word for it, which you should not, me becoming a better person, me understanding the laws of the universe like karma, like all the hermetic principles, but also like seeing and feeling the consequences of my actions. I know that if I go out drinking, something will happen. I know that I'm depleting my energy. I know that if I go to a concert, the same thing happens. I know if I treat someone poorly, I know that if I sue somebody, if I know these things. And if I share these things with you and you incorporate any one of them, I have a friend who's now quitting caffeine. And I have a friend who quit drugs. I have two friends that quit drugs because of a conversation with me. I am noticing people also quitting alcohol because I'm firm on it and because I can tell people what my experience is and they see an example, it's easier to follow. When you're happy, truly, you'll feel drunk anyways. You don't need it. You can convince yourself to feel that way. When I graduated high school, I have two stories here. We had grad night. That's when they lock everyone away so you don't drink and kill yourself the night you graduate. And I wasn't a popular kid in high school. Never danced in my life. Ever, ever, ever. I didn't know this, but it was Casino Royale themed, and they recorded the whole night. The next year, when they're advertising grad night, look how fun it is. Someone at school told me the whole video was videos of me dancing. When I ran into someone there, he's like, "Where did you get alcohol?" I was like, "I've never drank in my life." He's like, "I can see it in your eyes." I was like, "I'm not drunk. You want to dance?" I just allowed myself to. Do you understand? I've done it. Not once since then, and it's been half my life ago, but I know it's in there. Um, I have done it before, but yeah, I was dancing with people that I never talked to the whole time. There's a picture of it somewhere, probably in at my mom's house. It's like who knew? Um, anyways, I was gonna tell this story in the last thing. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'll tell the story. Just tell the story and then figure out a meaning after. Is in '96, Nintendo 64 came out. I think around then, 95, 96. And my parents said, if you do good in school, we'll buy you one. And me and my brother did not. But my sister did. So she got one, which means we got one, and she did not. So she tried to assert her power. She's like, you have to ask me for permission. He's like, you have to shut the fuck up or we'll kill you. Headshot. So um, we definitely abused that kid, is what I'm saying. But sorry, Fuji. But I got really good at video games. I was always good. But uh, I played Mario 64. I am a nerd. I'm sorry. I don't. I apologize for nothing. Take it back. Uh, I beat it, and then you can beat the game when you're like a quarter of the way through. Like you just get to the end. Um, and when I finished high school, I applied to college, and I was just waiting. And I I was like, I never really beat that game. Let me go back. And it was like I got 7 out of 10, 70% of the way done. And I'm not a 7 out of 10 person. So I went back and painstakingly found every single coin in every level. And it was very hard and took a long time. And at the end, you get to shoot the cannon and get on the castle. And then Yoshi's been hanging out there the whole time. He's like, what the fuck? I could have used you, dickhead. It's just like life. Where's my spiritual leader? He's fucking waiting for me at the end. Um, my higher self, Yoshi. So it was hard. And I still remember like the music. I still remember the feeling. I still remember being stuck on the same level and catching fire and whatever, having to fight. So long, Gay Bowser. I don't know what he says, but sounds like Gay Bowser. Um, the feeling of accomplishment I got from that is like how I apply. It's like how I apply myself to everything now. It's like I have to do it all the way. If you're going to do it all the way. And the other thing is, I noticed that the people that use the cheat codes to just get to the end or half-ass it to just say I completed it, their life looks like that. Even if they make it as short-lived. There's a guy I used to work with temporarily, and I was talking about him to with someone yesterday. This guy had a very fragile ego, and he became famous. Like cars were just a way he could augment himself. And like I went to Vegas with him, and he was like, "Hey, don't post any pictures of our dinner because my wife will see." My wife and kids are at home, and he brought some random floozy to the thing. I was like, "What? Like I have to? Why are you doing this to me? Why am I in on this now?" Um, and he's a shortcut guy. So good talker, good salesman, kept getting investment money, had the largest shop I think I've ever seen, possibly the largest shop, one of the largest shops in the world, I think, automotive shops, and by square footage at least. And every car that he built would come back, and he'd upsell them. Like the motor would blow, and he'd be like, "Well, let's build up the motor now." Um, he wanted to take credit for everything that went right and dump everything that went wrong on someone else. He claimed to be the fabricator and the tuner and the builder and the blah blah blah. Meanwhile, he's just some guy. So eventually, as luck would have it, um, he pisses off very wealthy people consistently, but finally he fucked with the wrong one. And this guy made it his mission to bury this guy. So he like made a website. He made an Instagram page, would post every car that caught fire, that got broken, that wasn't fixed, that blah blah blah, and overnight destroyed this guy's reputation, destroyed this guy's ability to feed his family. Now, I look at that man, if you can call him one. Fame and fortune were his priority. God gave this guy a wife that he didn't deserve, could have done better. Kids kids are always innocent. Um, and what he was chasing and where his values were, now he jeopardized all those things. I don't know. I haven't stayed in touch with him. I'm not on the internet. I don't see these things. But everything that I've heard is like there's not a single person that knows this guy that thinks that he got the short end of the stick. Everyone's like, good, it's about time. And I knew this even when he was on the top. When I worked with him, I think it was 4 years ago. About 2020, I think 2019 maybe. Um, I saw it. I could see. I was like, it's a matter of time. And the longer it takes, I suppose, the bigger it is. But um, his poor family. This schmuck has no integrity. He's not a man. It doesn't matter that he can make ends meet. He's Palagon Pambe. It's like a cotton tough guy. Just nothing. The muscles are filled with air. So, I think, with all this said, that my personal journey has made me a better person as I'm alchemizing the things in my shadow, and I'm becoming a more. I would like to think I always had integrity, that I always had morals, but I didn't always live by them. I wasn't always so strict with it. Before, when I was little, when I was a teenager, I thought the first person I kiss is who I'm going to marry and have kids with, in that order. And I took a girl to a dance, and she uh, kissed me on the mouth without my permission. And I was like, okay, well, fuck it all now. I really felt like the whole thing I had to throw away, weirdly. Um, and I think from then, slowly but surely, I just let loose on doing what everybody else is doing. What are you guys doing? What do you guys say is okay? Okay, I'll do that. And then by 27, never having a drink, I was like, well, like, who says I have it right? Everyone else seems to be having fun. Then tried alcohol, and then get my kidney disease diagnosis. Doctor says on the phone, like very matter of factly, like he said, even with a transplant and dialysis, like 4 or 5 years. So that's fucking now. So I was like, okay, that's how it's going to be. That's exactly what I predicted, that I would be dead by 40. That's what I thought growing up. And then I was like, I did everything right. Why me? Angry at the world and God and whatever. I was like, okay, well, I obviously didn't have anything right. What was the point of not partying and not doing drugs and not, and going on the journey of trying those things? Like, it's way not. I'm back to who I was as a kid, more or less, getting closer every day. But I have like this. It's not something we can negotiate on. It's not something I'm willing to compromise on. It means the world to me because there's a spiritual world that I was unaware of when I just had the morals and inclinations to be this way. And having experienced hell, it's like, it's serious what we do here. It's serious how I treat other people. It's not just what we see. It's not just the physical things that we have tangible evidence of. Of course, you don't know if you haven't seen it. But it's like every day I forget very real things that I've experienced and seen and conquered and whatever. And I have to remind myself, like, it doesn't matter how long it takes. I will not compromise who I am for any type of satisfaction, temporary satisfaction, short term satisfaction. Um, having this having this knowing of a higher power and of everything happens for a reason, it's been a weird it's been a weird couple months because you know I realized that we repeat patterns, we repeat lessons. And I say this all the time: no man steps in the same river twice because it's not the same river and he's not the same man. But when I go through a similar situation as a better person, I don't make the same mistakes. I might make other mistakes. I might do everything perfectly. But I think when I don't make the mistake, when you don't make a mistake, you don't get a consequence. And without the consequence, it's like, oh, is it over? Are we still in it? And it was driving me crazy actually. But um, the waiting period is the most important and crucial part of your spiritual journey. What you do in that time, because you can get cabin fever. I have the ability to revert to an old version of myself or to new bad behavior or whatever. And this is the time that determines, did I ace this test? Did I get a passing or failing grade? So the first sign that I did something well, I got like a 10x return on an investment. Out of thin air. Thank you guys. Neat. So must have done something right. Right? If it's a spiritual world, it works how I have envisioned it, then that makes sense. And I bet you it's not done. So I'm not gonna cash out, and I'm not gonna like whatever is coming has to be bigger. I believe I get everything. The only reason I don't have um, everything I want in this moment is I'm not who I'm supposed to be yet. I haven't learned all my lessons and I haven't met all the people that I'm supposed to help. Um, Recently have been become close to someone who's uh, at a transition and in her stage 4 and of her animus. And it's incredible how God just puts people together. You don't have to look for it. It's I can't explain it. It's just how did we know to have the conversation? You know what I mean? Like how did we know that there's a purpose? So that combined with like how many times has that happened? How many times have I been the person that someone needed? And of course it's happened in reverse too. It's like uh I've experienced that with someone as well. And it preceded the happiest point of my life because someone was concerned with my needs for once, which is has been rare in my life. It's definitely rare in my dating life, but when like someone I'm not dating is like, "Are you okay? And do you need anything?" Or it was just nice, like made me feel safe, like the bottom of my pyramid, so that I could go on this inward journey. It's like how I got to where I am. And God orchestrated everything, absolutely everything. Like there is no need to worry. Whatever's you know whatever God has planned, we have to remember is better than what we imagined. It's a better result than we can imagine. And the only reason we don't get it is our disbelief in that. We don't think we deserve the perfect person or the perfect life or perfect job, family, whatever. It's the only reason we don't have it. I talked to my friend, and I had him read the book, The World is a Mirror. And then he tells me I manifested something. Like, this is the biggest thing he's manifested in his life. And this is like the biggest sale he's had. And the funny thing is like, isn't it weird that you've had this superpower the whole time? And we've been manifesting as your own fucking misery. How embarrassed should we feel about complaining about our lives to anybody when we're manifesting our own misery? We're causing our own suffering because that's what we believe we need. That's the only reason it's here. You believe you need it. You believe you're not ready. You believe you don't deserve the person, whatever the fuck. This is fucking crazy. That's fucking nuts, man. He's one step closer now. He's got one of the keys to the universe, but he's he's got a lot of other things to alchemize. Um, and you know what? His addiction to nicotine and weed and caffeine are things that I was like, your ability to manifest is being altered by these things. That's why they're here. How interesting that now he discovered this. What if everybody has that superpower? I believe that. And the only reason we can't feel it is we're severing our connection to soothe ourselves, to numb ourselves, even masturbating or, you know, what I mean, whatever you're doing to numb yourself is preventing you from doing this with everything in your life, manifesting anything. Nuts. That's nuts. Nuttier than squirrel shit. Um, so in conclusion, um, I think men need to learn how to be men, real men, not Andrew Tate men. There's a lot of things that he says that I'm like, I agree with it, but think about how he got money is like tricking dumb men into thinking they're sexting a woman online. It's like you're making money off of lowering people's vibration. I don't think you can. You mean like there's no honorable drug dealers? You know, there are nice ones. There are nice ones, but it's what are you doing in life? Hurting people or helping people? And you know what I love is that the people that are close to me now all have the same like goodness in their heart. I went to dinner the other night with my friend, and she was saying that like I didn't realize how much we had in common as far as we want to help people. And there's a lot of common ground where in her life she's been the me for other people. So in meeting me, she's learning how to still do that, but without overextending and without doing it in an unhealthy way, and also like cleaning out the people around her that are low vibration, that are, you know what I mean? Which she has to do on her own. It's not for me to decide, but just it's very interesting. I just have to go where God tells me to go. You know what I mean? Um, he knows best. I think the end of this year is going to be great, and I think next year is going to be amazing. The way this is ending, I feel like it's going to be exponential. I felt like that's what I was preparing for. It's like things have been going good, better than ever, I suppose. But I do think that there's a leveling up that's going to happen, and I'm putting energy in the right places, like a squirrel. It's like just spreading my seed, spreading my energy, and seeing what pops, seeing what sticks. So I did like a video for work that my friend's editing, and it's rather than like a sales pitch, it's just a story about cars in my life, I guess. And I think I'm better at doing that stuff on camera because I do this. Still, every time a camera is pointed at me, I get real nervous, but it goes away now. It doesn't stay the whole time. Don't look at me, or I'll kill myself. Um, so yeah, I think men need to do a better job at being men. I'll keep on onesie twosie telling guys what I'm doing. Stop masturbating. Fucking stop doing drugs. Caffeine is a drug. And like we should be trying to be the best versions of ourselves. If you want the best partner, she deserves our best. Not this is what I am, this is what you get. Like what like we got to keep improving, guys. Come on. So I think my last vice is my language, or how I thought it was really funny when I said on Reddit this lady, her mom threw away her boyfriend's ashes that were she's like miserable and laying on the bed and not living her life for 2 years. I was like, he's not in your cookie jar, you bitch. And there's no funnier way to say that. But I also feel for the person, and I was trying to give her good advice. Uh, yeah, but you know, I gotta, I gotta do this. So even in my work recording, I texted my friend. And I was like, I don't want to cuss on camera. It's like I was talking casually, and we'll edit it together, but a couple f bombs, and it's like it's funny, but like, what if kids see it? It's like, what now? Now I'm an uncle. What if they look for their uncle at some point? I'm gonna learn new words. Um, so yeah, I guess it's time for me to do this transition, and then once again, next year I'll be the best version of myself. This year I'm the best version of myself that has lived so far. Next year I will be even better, and nothing's going to stop me. Nothing can stop me. So yeah, I encourage. Our word should mean something. Shouldn't have to swear or promise. Your word as a man is all you have. If you don't have that, you have nothing. I think. 111. Good time to stop. All right. I won't say go F yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.